Millions of people still drink Fanta, but little do they know the fascinating history that started it all, before it became one of the most popular drinks in the world. Fanta's roots lie in Nazi Germany. In this video, we'll go back in time to the Second World War and discover how that struggle influenced the creation of one of the world's most recognizable drinks. It is 1933, and Hitler has just risen to power in Germany. However, another movement is gaining traction across the country. In 1929, Max Keith was responsible for bringing Coca-Cola to the German market, making him an important part of the company's history. He was responsible for establishing the whole business infrastructure in Germany, from the Frankfurt bottling facility and Cologne storage facilities through the rest of the country. Once every German knew about Coca-Cola, he and his army of salespeople would comb the streets of every major city, distributing leaflets and putting up posters. Despite decades of alcoholic customs, Keith managed to convert the population to soda consumption because of his relentless advertising. Obviously, Keith had perfect timing. At the low point of the Great Depression, he employed workers and established industries. Later, as economic conditions in Germany improved in the early 1930s, many consumers immediately turned to Keith's Coca-Cola to spend their newly acquired discretionary wealth. Keith was also aided by technological advancements. Refrigerators, which had swept the United States in the 1930s, were finding their way to Germany. This meant that a record number of people could now enjoy a frosty can of Coke. Of course, Keith was cautious in his marketing, and he did all he could to conceal the fact that Coca-Cola was founded in the United States. Because of his tremendous success, his American superiors gave him a great deal of autonomy. By 1935, he was manufacturing 7 of the 9 secret components for Coca-Cola in his own factory. Germany had already surpassed the United States as Coca-Cola's largest international market, but Keith was only getting started. Both Hitler and Keith could claim the 1936 Olympics as a personal victory because of how the event turned out. Keith's Coca-Cola banners flew throughout the tournament, and he ended up selling over 1 million cases of the soft drink that year as Germany won 33 gold medals, the most of any nation. Despite his success, Keith's Coca-Cola empire was facing a new threat. In accordance with Hitler's directives, the German economy was to undertake a 4-year strategy toward rearmament and self-sufficiency, which would result in much less shipping from the United States. What do you think of the video so far? Let us know in the comment section below. Hopefully, you're enjoying the content. If you want more videos like this one, remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's go back to the video. The Nazi bureaucracy was keen to repeat the nationalizations it had carried out during the 1930s, and Keith presented an easy target. Unfortunately for Keith, the Nazi Minister of Justice was a friend of his, and he was assigned to the Office of Enemy Property. Not only would Keith be secure from the Nazis, but he would also be in a position to spare the other Coca-Cola businesses in Europe from destruction. Keith would take over the Coca-Cola plants in France, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Norway as the Nazi war machine marched throughout Europe. Of course, no matter how many factories there were, they would be worthless if they had nothing to create, and Keith had no further shipments scheduled to arrive from the United States. As best he could, he saved the 2 scarce Coca-Cola components for use in Nazi hospitals, but his rationing strategy only worked for a few years. But by 1940, Keith had made a product that could be made in large quantities, and the Coca-Cola plants in Europe went back to business as usual. Keith told his salespeople to use their fantasy, German for imagination, to think of a name for the new product. It was at Keith's suggestion that the product's code name was changed to Fanta. Even though Keith was selling 3 million cases of Fanta annually by the time he ran out of Coca-Cola in 1943, the war was beginning to take a toll on Germany on the Eastern Front. At that time, Keith's friend had been replaced and had died. However, by an incredible stroke of luck, the Allies bombed the Ministry of Justice the next week, killing the new minister and saving Keith's life. 3 months later, in May of 1945, the Americans discovered him still bottling Fanta in a half-wrecked facility. The German subsidiary was still operational, so he sent a telegram to the American headquarters to beg for assistance. But the Americans were already far ahead of him. Coca-Cola engineers sent from the United States marched with the Allied forces to reconstruct plants and begin bottling Coca-Cola in Germany as early as April, just as Europe was being freed. In the United States, Keith was celebrated as a hero because he saved the corporation and avoided tainting Coca-Cola with Nazi ideology by remaining an unofficial member of the Nazi Party. Keith was eventually promoted to president of Coca-Cola Europe for his efforts. And in 1955, after many years of development, the first true Fanta was introduced to the globe. The boldness of one man to produce soda in the face of Nazi Germany has led to Fanta's rise to prominence as one of Coca-Cola's best-selling drinks. That's it for our video today. So what do you think of the dark story behind Fanta? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this content, remember to give this video a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe if you still need to. See you at the next one, and cut!